know about you is that you have ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one. I do want to start off this show today before we get into everything. He's always really, honestly, he's always, a lot of the time, he's always the first in this room. He's always been a big supporter of the show. I want to shout out Omar Brown. His significant other died last night, passed away, and man, I just hope you're good, bro. I hope everything. I can't imagine that. I hope everything is okay with you, man. I know it's not, but man, I hope the clouds dissipate and the sun shines through for you sooner rather than later, my friend. You're always part of the Phinside fam. We're here. We're thinking about you, and we just hope you're good, man. We just hope you're good. Stay strong, as strong as you can, bro. My prayers, my thoughts, everything I possibly have is with you right now, bro. All right. So I want you to know I'm thinking of you, dude. All right. So nothing but love for you, Omar. I hope you're well, brother. All right. Be strong. You need anything, we're here. My email, Phinside The NFL at gmail.com. Hit me up. You need anything. All right, brother. So thinking of you and sending prayers to you, Omar. All right. So be strong. We're all with you. We're all standing by you, man. And we all love you, bro. So be well, dude. All right. So yeah. Moving off that, which is absolutely god awful. And I'm just gonna be thinking about Omar all night now. But we got a lot to go over tonight. Obviously we're gonna recap the day that was in terms of training camp. Tomorrow and the day after, Wednesday and Thursday of this week, they will be joint practices against the Philadelphia Eagles, preparing for the game on Saturday. So there's something I want to talk about that I'm going to bring to light for all of y'all. All right. Something I've been privately thinking about with the Eagles game and the joint practices. So I'm going to bring that out to light in just a moment here. I wanted to address something because, shout out to the homie Jason Greaves, one of the mods here, always showing love. Sent me a video yesterday of an absolute clown with a clown take, with this new narrative that Tua is faking his progressions. Is that that's what we're going at right now? That's literally what we're going at. Tell me you don't know how to watch film without telling me you don't know how to watch film. See, here's the problem. I'm addressing all of Dolphins Nation right now, whether on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Hey, am I Brett Coleman? No. But when it comes to this community and breaking down film, right? Travis Wingfield's better. But other than that, when you talk about the job me, Martin, and Mr. Ballgame do, stop listening to people who don't know how to watch film. Stop listening to people who watch football but don't understand what they're watching. I'm serious. Okay? There's people out here who talk about film and all this stuff when they got no business because they don't know how to even watch it properly. And if someone's coming and saying Tua is faking his progressions, again, tell me you don't know how to watch film without telling me you don't know how to watch film. Absolutely clown stuff. Absolutely clown stuff. So I got sent this clip yesterday, and bro, and the funny thing is these people who don't know how to break down film, they either actually think they do, which is sad, or B, they're just projecting to y'all to make it seem like they know more than they really do. In a sense, lying on who they are. All right? So, especially on the YouTube side of this community has only really started picking up in 2019. And ain't no one in this community who talking about film before me and EM came around. Ain't no one in this community breaking down film before your boy started doing it. And let's be honest, a lot of it came from a place of, oh, he's doing it. People are recognizing him, that he actually knows what he's talking about. Maybe if I do it, people will think I'm an authority on football too. Stop. All right. This is how we get takes like this. This is how we get takes like Tua's rolling, faking his progressions. People don't even know how to read and cycle through progressions. That's why me and Martin were breaking down yesterday for you guys in our in-depth film analysis on some of those plays. We were telling you the progression levels and how you would read the play. Show me someone else in this community that's done that. They don't know how. It's all right. So I got to be the one to say this. All right. All these people projecting something they're not because they want to sound smart or they want to look smart. Stop. Stick to your lane. That's how we get bad takes. Like Tua is faking going through his progressions. All right. Absolutely stupid stuff that I'm even having. That is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my life. To say that about any quarterback is asinine. It's really, really ridiculous. In fact, that same person who said that, I was arguing with that person and his little buddy on Twitter last draft season, and they were trying to tell everyone Devontae Smith was a much better selection than Jalen Waddle. In fact, the person who made this fake progression claim went so far to say that Jalen Waddle at 6 would be an awful pick. I have the receipt. I have the screenshot of the tweet. All right. So again, again, we're running into these people. They're telling themselves they don't know how to watch film. It's ridiculous. And there's multiple in this community. It's not one. All right. Leave it up to the people who know what they're doing. Unbelievable. Now let's talk about this Eagles stuff. Let's talk about Tua for a sec here. Because I've been, I've been Rome, you know who said that. It's the same person you're talking about. The Eagles game. I want to pitch this to y'all guys. Okay? I want you guys to listen to what I'm saying. And hold on, before we get into the Eagles stuff. And this whole trolling thing, all right? Do people think they're funny? Like, it's funny when you troll other fan bases, but trolling your own fan base and your own team? That's corny. Anyways, the Eagles thing. Let's talk about the Eagles stuff for a minute. This is how I've been looking at it privately, and I'm going to bring this to y'all. I'm going to put this at y'all feet. I'm going to put this on your doorstep. All right? One thing with Tua, not only does he got to get the confidence in his body back, not only does he got to have the confidence in the personnel around him, his coaching staff, but he's got to have the confidence in himself. Let's be honest. When people are talking about Tuscaloosa Tua, let's just be real right now. Tuscaloosa Tua, he's, physically, we haven't seen him there yet, back to what he was. After the hip injury, I don't know if he'll ever be back physically to what he was. But mentally too, I don't think not a lot of people talk about this confidence thing, and it's a bunch of compounding factors. It's the injury, it's the offensive coaching staff he's had around him, and these are all things he doesn't have, has or doesn't have confidence in. It's his hip and his body. It's the receivers. All these major contributing factors over the last 2 years, he's had no confidence in. And I'm going somewhere with this, with the Eagles stuff. So bear with me where I'm building up to you. I've seen throws on tape over the last, 2 years where Tuscaloosa Tua would have pulled the trigger. because he could, because of where his body was at, and because where his confidence is at. Listen, playing the quarterback position, for all of you who've never played it but think you can break down playing it, all right? A lot of it is up here. A lot of it is up here. You got to be a quick processor, right? You got to mentally process things really quick. Really quick. You've got to have a level of foresight. That's how you anticipate, right? Reading these complex and understanding these complex offenses. You can't be a dum-dum. Can't be a meathead, or it's going to catch up to you eventually. But also, you need to carry a level of confidence of not only knowing your limits as a passer, but being confident enough in yourself that you're willing to test those limits with tight window throws, with bucket shots along the sideline where you got no room and it needs to be a perfect pass, over the middle with a linebacker hanging underneath and a safety over top where it's all touch. You got to be able to throw the football with a certain level of confidence. I mean, listen, when I played the position, I knew not a lot of people in my area had a stronger arm than me. That's where my confidence came from, was I had a rocket. It came from baseball, right? I still have it to this day. The wife always tells a story. I'll tell you guys it quick. We out here, we have a thing called the CNE, the Canadian Exhibition. And when me and my wife started dating about 9 years ago, we went to the carnival game where you got all the walls of, you got the wall and it's nothing but plates. And see, like when we go out with couples and stuff and this story comes up, I don't even tell it. My wife tells it, but I'll tell y'all because she ain't here and I'll never put her on screen. All right. So that's not ever going to happen. So what happened was you get 3 softballs for like $5. All right. And, first throw, middle row, I hit the plate. And because of the velocity, when I hit the plate, it bounced off the bottom of the shelf and then hit up the top of the shelf and basically knocked down all the plates on the wall. I got my wife this massive stuffed Chili Willy. If you guys know who Chili Willy is, the old cartoon, I got her this massive stuffed Chili Willy. I was basically said you could pick any prize. But it's one of those things. I had the confidence in my arm. Right? Tuscaloosa Tua had confidence that he could make any throw. He had a stronger arm than Joe Burrow before the hip injury. You see the torque on his throws, but also because the accuracy and the placement. Like Tua's arm was not, the thing is, if you think about it, we're trying to get that velocity back he had in Tuscaloosa because we all know it. We all see it. Yet, prior to that hip injury, if he would have came out with no hip injury, mechanically and everything like that, you would have built on that arm strength, and his arm would have got stronger at the pro level as he worked on his body as well. But he's been so focused on rehabbing and get his body right and really throwing, you're in a sense, you're relearning your mechanics because you have to now adjust your mechanics with that hip. And so the confidence isn't there. We haven't seen the confidence of Tuscaloosa Tua in a while. Not just the throws, we haven't seen the confidence. Because there's throws I've seen where Tua pump fakes it, or you tell he's trigger shy, and back in Tuscaloosa, he would have made the throw. And it don't matter what receiver's on the end of it. So, all that said, all right? All that said, I will be watching the Eagles joint practices and this game very closely if Jalen Hurts is a contributing factor for the Eagles. I'm going to explain to you why. We still see the dog come out of Tua. It happened against Kyler. He's 2-0 against Mac. And you saw it in that second half against Kansas City. And you saw it in that fourth quarter against Atlanta when, sure, he threw 2 picks early on, but he left the field with the lead. All right? I need to see in the joint practices and because And it's not that I need to see it. It's I know I should see it. We should all come away with the Tua we know and love will not let Jalen Hurts outperform him in joint practices and in a preseason game if they both do dress rehearsals and they both get meaningful, if they both get a quarter or 2 quarters of snaps. The Tua that we know will not allow that to happen. He just won't. And I'm expecting that dog to come out and get up. That's why another reason why I wasn't panicking over those 6 interceptions last week. Because I was sitting there saying to myself, hey, next week we got the Eagles. This guy gets up for little rivalries. He gets up and he gets out of bed for them. If I see Tua flat in joint practices where we know at least Hurts will be involved in the joint practices, but then he comes out flat and they're both playing the preseason game, I'm not going to be panicking. I'm not going to be worried, but I'm going to raise my eyebrows because I need to see that confident, that swaggy Tua come out. And he always comes out when it's a little rivalry. So, listen, I'm not saying I want this guy to come out and throw for 500 yards. No. You'll see Tua push in the ball. You'll see that because he'll need to gain that level of confidence back. And the confidence will come back and, I'm better than this guy. Saban put him on the bench for me. He had to transfer to start. So, the dog should be coming out. I want to see that dog. So, Z-Man, Tom Brady didn't practice in the second joint practice where Tua had that great practice. It was Gabbard and Trask and such. Brady only practiced for the first practice. And really no one blew anyone away on that first day of practice. It was the second joint practice where Tua was shredding. So, listen. I want to see this. Because he ain't going to let Hurts outperform him in joint practice. So, I need to see it. Now, if I don't see it, does that mean I don't think he's going to be successful this year? No. This is something I'm very curious to see. Because it's something we would see in the past. Again, we've got examples of it. Don't know what else to say. So I'm really interested to see what Tua does this week. I think he's going to shred. I think you're going to see the dog come out. That's what I'm expecting. Again, like I'm expecting him to be a top 12 quarterback this year. I'm expecting the dog to come out this week. And you saw it start to come out a little bit today. Even though it was run heavy, Tua was dropping them. Tua was dropping them today. So, he's just warming up. He's just warming up. Because you know what? That Eagle team, they're going to win their division. And I think Tua, like a hot knife through butter during joint practices. That's what I think. That's what I'm expecting from Tua. Because I've seen it in Tua. I know Tua has it in him. Just like top 12. I expect it of Tua, and I'll be disappointed if he doesn't give it to me because I know he has it in him. Especially with these guys around him. Whether it's the coaching staff or the person, I know the kid has it in him. I know it's there. Listen, he might have had to adjust his mechanics and relearn some things with his hip. But he knew he had certain translatable skills that you just can't teach. That you either got it or you don't. And I believe you're going to bring them out. So let's just, I'm hyped. I might not see me right now, but I am hyped for this week. This week, I circled this week. I'm getting up out of bed to hear Tua shredding Hurts. And I believe he will. Real talk. I do believe he will. So, and if he doesn't, yeah, I'll be a little bit disappointed, but it won't be the end of the world for me. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. Already 450 plus of you in the room. I appreciate y'all. Let's get into this stuff. We're going to go over the training camp report. We're going to go over all the training camp reports. Then I want to play the video highlights from today, because not everything was shared to Twitter. So and then after that, I want to go briefly over some of the stuff McDaniel said, and then an interesting article from the Miami Herald about 12 takeaways they've seen from camp. Because honestly, I'm going to tell y'all, the Miami Herald's coverage has been, media outlet wise, I think it's been the best. Them and the Sun Sentinel have been the best this year. Shout out to Daniel Ifusi, and shout out to David Furones, and shout out to Barry Jackson. I think they've been the best this year. So, anyways, Marcel's been good too, but he's not on every day. Just like Cameron Wolf's good too, but he's not there every day. Those guys, they've been the best, I think. Alain Poupart coming out here, rolling out passer ratings and completion percentages on days where Tua struggles, but not doing it on days where Tua is shredding. Stop. Tell me you have an agenda without telling me you have an agenda, okay? I can't take you seriously, bro. I can't even look at you as objective. Even if you don't like what you're seeing, I can't take you as objective when you start doing stuff like that. Now, if you had done passer ratings from day one and completion percentages from day one, and you were rolling through that on the good and the bad, I would take you seriously. But I ain't going to take you seriously when you nitpick stuff. See, you come to Phinside The NFL, I give you the good and the bad. I don't hide from either. While some of these other people out here, in whatever content creation outlet they are, they only highlight one or the other. Ridiculous. All right, let's start off before we get into training camp, though, just quick, because we had to go down from 85 to 80. And with that, the Dolphins, after that Sterling Hoffrichter punt we all saw on Saturday, are we surprised he was the first on the list to be cut? DeAndre Johnson cut, and then Sheldrick Redwine cut. Before we get into the two other names on there, my boy Verone McKinley going to make this team, ladies and gentlemen. He's pushing. The word I'm getting is Verone McKinley is pushing for a spot right now. Love it, baby. Love it. Love it. Verone McKinley pushing for a spot. Sheldrick Redwine, who was on the team last year, he is no longer on the team. So, and from what I'm being told, Verone is pushing. So, good stuff. Now, Mackenzie Alexander and John Lovett. First of all, John Lovett. Now, it took them a while to put him on the injured reserve. I told you guys during OTAs that, this staff and these players, they loved Lovett. Funny enough. So, he's on injured reserve. And they looks like they waited out as long as they could, and they said, you know what, it's not going to happen. And they might have. I've liked what I've seen from Ethan Carter. Maybe they like what they've seen from Ethan Carter, because I got a feeling they're going to carry two fullbacks. Mackenzie Alexander. This one hurts for the sake of he allowed the versatility of us being able to flex Keon Crossan out, who I've heard is in the running to start if Byron can't go week one on that boundary. It's between him and Needham. Mackenzie gives you the flexibility to flex Needham or Keon Cross into that boundary spot. But even if, like last year when Javon Holland had COVID, Needham flexed to that safety spot because we had Justin Coleman, right? Like having a guy who can take starting reps at slot allows a lot of flexibility with Needham. He can play, the boundary as well, or free safety. Or it allows you flexibility with Keon Crossan to not be your slot guy waiting in the wing, and he can go play the boundary because he's got a lot of great athleticism. He got a great athletic profile that's very intriguing. So the Mackenzie Alexander, that sucks. Now, in terms of options free agency, I think if you're going to go for another slot guy, Chris Harris Jr., again, into his 30s, but if you're looking for someone, Chris Harris Jr. is probably, if you're going for a slot guy, that's probably your best bet right now. And he's always been one of the better slot guys in the NFL. He's just up there in age. Another one, if you're looking for a boundary guy, is Joe Hayden. So again, early 30s, but either one of those guys on a 1-year stopgap deal, beautiful stuff. So, because I would have actually had them above Mackenzie Alexander to begin with. So we'll see how it plays out. Especially because guys, guess what? Next Tuesday they got to get down to 53. So, there you go. There's your 5. DeAndre Johnson, Sheldrick Redwine, and Sterling Hoffrichter were waived, while Mackenzie Alexander and John Levitt were placed on the injured reserve, ending their season unless they get an injury settlement buyout and re-sign with them. So there you go. They are done. They are out. Now let's get into training camp for today. Let's get into everything that went down. As always, let's start with the Miami Herald. So again, 2 impresses, baby. Let's go. I'm telling you, I don't want to overstep. I don't want to overreact because I've done great this offseason. I'm not overreacting and overhyping. But I'm telling you, I see him impressing on a day where it's right before we get into those joint practices. He coming, the dog coming, baby. Let him off the leash. The final Dolphins only practice of training camp featured 2 beautiful deep throws from Tua Tagovailoa, building on a solid preseason opener that featured shorter and intermediate routes. The Dolphins have 2 more training camp practices, joint sessions with the Philadelphia Eagles on Wednesday and Thursday at Dolphins facilities in Miami Gardens. Both are open to the public. Stars of the day, Tagovailoa, Tyreek, and Mike Gesicki. Tagovailoa and Hill connected on another big play, this one covering 40 air yards. They also connected on an intermediate route. Tagovailoa threw a deep pass to Gesicki for a long touchdown as well. Jalen Phillips, he had multiple quarterback pressures in 11-on-11 work, continuing a strong camp. We need to see some of that translate to when he's getting reps, though, in game, though. We haven't seen it, really. So at least 2 seemingly would have been sacks in real games. And, I mean, it just tells you, we know what our offensive line is, right? River Craycraft caught 2 passes from Teddy B for sizable gains. I got one of them for y'all to show you in the clips, including one for a touchdown in red zone drills. Tagovailoa's beautiful 40-yard pass to Tyreek Hill, beating Kadir Kahu. The play ended just short of the goal line. That was one of the plays of the day. The other play of the day was Gesicki's long reception of a Tagovailoa pass, beating Javon Holland in coverage. See? Holland's going to have his days. Tua going to have his days. Just it's what happens, right? Doesn't mean Holland ain't elite. It was Gesicki's biggest play in a generally quiet camp in which he has spent a lot of time working to improve his blocking. Did they watch the tape of the safety? Because I mean, hey, you're putting the work in, cool, but you got to execute, brother. Rookie edge player Cameron Good, who's had a very impressive camp. He's shown me a lot more than what he did on. You watch his Cal tape and you watch him now. That guy looked like just a freaking pass rusher, nothing more, nothing less. He's setting the edge. He's dropping into coverage. I am very impressed with Cameron Good. Good, the rookie 7th rounder has impressed, but there's considerable competition for the backup edge job amongst Good, Porter Gustin, Darius Hodge, and Brendan Scarlett. He had a tackle for a loss today on Myles Gaskin in a red zone drill. Gaskin could be traded or released if the team decides to keep Sony Michel and or Salvin Ahmed instead. Gaskin was heavily involved Tuesday. There's a Twitter account that's really not known for being correct, but it's NFL Rumors, and they put it out that that they've heard Myles Gaskin, the Dolphins are fielding calls on Myles Gaskin, which would make, that's about as solid of as an educated guess as you can make. I think we all assume that. Besides Good, Raekwon Davis, Zach Seiler, and Gustin also made tackles for a loss today. Alec Ingold back to practicing fully after a week 10 ACL injury for the Raiders last season. Caught a pass from Tagovailoa for about 10 yards and another for 25 yards. Love it. Great, most underrated signing of the offseason, man. McDaniel said Ingold will make his preseason Dolphins debut Saturday. Remember, been told this is going to be the dress rehearsal, so we'll see if it actually does become that. It's a long time coming, Ingold said of his return to game action. Teddy Bridgewater connected with Braylon Sanders on a 20-yard crossing route. The Mississippi rookie continues to impress. Duke Riley had a sack. The Dolphins' number 3 inside linebacker has had a very, very good camp. And he's flashed in preseason game too. Duke Riley's been he's got my attention. Though who was beaten on one play Tuesday, he was around the ball a lot. He had pass breakups on throws to Sanders and Mohamed Sanu on Tuesday, and is clearly a prospect worth developing. Who said it was a big deal for me that defensive coordinator Josh Boyer showed interest in the Zoom session before the draft. Josh was upfront and real. Kahu said that combined with a $130,000 guarantee were among factors that swayed Kahu to opt for the Dolphins over 19 other offers. Kahu, who played for Texas A&M Commerce, said that the playbook has been the biggest difference from that lower level of college to the NFL. He was born in the Ivory Coast, where French was his first language. Not speaking English and not knowing anything about football were obstacles he overcame when his family moved to Dallas when he was 9. Dieter said the team is having him focus on playing center and not working him at guard, where he started as a rookie. Dieter, who started at center in all 8 games in which he appeared last season, was asked if he's at peace being a backup for now. He said, yeah, that's not the goal, but it's not the worst gig in the world. He said, it's not the best thing, but not the worst thing. Connor's doing a really good job. He's going to be a damn good center. Running backs Chase Edmonds wore the orange jersey given to the standout player on the previous Dolphins practice. Jalen Waddle and Terron Armstead and Greg Little returned to practice after missing time last week. Waddle was wearing a white sleeve on his right leg and did not participate in 11-11 drills. Sonny Michel, Eric Rowe, Keon Crossan, and Andrew Van Ginkel, Brendan Scarlett, and Calvin Munson did not practice today. Rowe, Crossan, and Scarlett watched from the sidelines. Michelle has been limited at times in camp. Crossan and Scarlett have minor injuries. Van Ginkel's absence wasn't explained, and rookie tight end Tanner Connor with a brace on his left leg was limited. Byron Jones remains on the PUP. Is still yet to practice with the team in camp as he heals from a spring surgery in the ankle Achilles area. He continues to work towards playing week 1, but he hasn't been spotted all camp. Needham returned to practice after leaving Saturday's game with a hand injury. He had tape on a finger during Tuesday session. I mean, it's clear it was just dislocated and needed to be popped back into place, right? Nothing really crazy with that. Continuing on from the Sun Sentinel, David Feronas, defense stuffs the run as Tua hits multiple deep throws. As the Miami Dolphins get set to host a pair of joint practices with the Eagles on Wednesday and Thursday ahead of Saturday's preseason finale, they held their final inter-squad practice of training camp on Tuesday. It was a shortened session with players inside for a stretch and positional drills before heading outside for team portions of practice. Tua Tagovailoa had multiple deep connections to wide receiver Tyreek Hill, tight end Mike Gesicki, and even fullback Alec Ingold in the day's brief work. But the theme of the practice was Miami's offense looking to get the run game going and the defensive front mostly stuffing it. A variety of early runs for tailback Chase Edmonds, who was in the orange jersey Tuesday as last Thursday's practice player of the day, didn't gain much. Defensive tackle Zach Seiler had a tackle for loss during the early stretch. Porter Gustin wrapped up Myles Gaskin on the edge for a loss later. Raekwon Davis and outside linebacker Cameron Good were also among defenders with run stops behind the line of scrimmage throughout as well. It's challenging, said Michael Dieter on facing the Dolphins' defensive front in practices. It's such a fun task to go against such a tough run defense and a really good front 7, even 8. It definitely makes us better because if we're off even a little bit, we're not going to have any success. If one guy's off here, one guy's off there, it can be really ugly versus a good NFL defense. The Dolphins want to get the run game going soon as they've averaged just 2.6 yards per rush in their 2 exhibition games. I think our offense is doing great building and learning from each other, said Zach Seiler. The offense is very competitive each practice, and it's really exciting to watch. Edmonds was seen breaking through the line for at least one sizable gain in the team's run game work. Tagovailoa aired 1 touchdown pass to Hill deep in single coverage against an undrafted rookie cornerback Kadir Kahu. He found Gesicki wide open over the top, presumably freed up by play design as safety Javon Holland was chasing Gesicki down for what would have resulted in roughly a 65-yard touchdown after the run. Tagovailoa bought time stepping up in the pocket and went through a progression when he found Ingold open about 25 yards downfield on the sideline. Ingold said following practice, he kept his feet in on the play. Teddy Bridgewater found River Raycraft multiple times for considerable gains. One was in the middle of the field for about 20 yards, and he later hit him wide open in the end zone on a defensive breakdown in coverage. The offense practice situations where it was we missed the D. The offense practiced situations where it was backed up for 1st and 10 at its own 2-yard line. Tagovailoa hit Ingold for 8 on his first play, giving the offense breathing room, and then found Hill for a 3rd down conversion. Bridgewater had a poorly thrown 3rd down pass, moderately broken up by Elijah Campbell. Duke Riley had a 3rd down sack of rookie quarterback Skylar Thompson. Melvin Ingram was in the backfield on one Tagovailoa throw to Hill for a loss where Ingram nearly got a hand on the pass that would have been dangerous for the offense if deflective. Kahoo, while in the vicinity of a pair of long completions, also had a pair of pass breakups. On one, he caught up to fellow undrafted rookie Braylon Sanders on a Bridgewater pass that floated. Another one's against Mohamed Sanu on a slant. The short day's work ended with Bridgewater completing a pass to tight end Hunter Long in the flat on a 4th and 2. Stock up today. Jalen Phillips had 2 sacks plus another instance where he affected Tagovailoa rushing upfield off the edge, forcing him to step up in the pocket and buy time. All this activity in a short practice where the run game played prominently in the offense's work. Braylon Sanders committed a false start to begin one of the series where the offense was backed up at the 2-yard line. It only goes down as a 1-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal line, but it makes it that much tougher on the offense in a true game scenario when a wide receiver cannot be committing a penalty on the outside. Standing out earlier in camp and making 3 catches for 40 yards in Saturday's preseason game against the Raiders, it's still hard to imagine there being a roster spot for the undrafted rookie in this deep wide receiver room. Yeah, with the way Bowden's come in, it's over for Sanders, I think. Their injury report. Armstead returned today and got plenty of 11 activity. Waddle was present early in drills for team stretch with a sleeve on his right leg. Didn't participate in the team portions of practice. Greg Little also returned to practice. Van Ginkel was not seen today. Either was Keon Crossan. McDaniel called them both day-to-day. Michelle and Brendan Scarlett and Calvin Munson also were not present at practice. Eric Rowe stretched with the team, but he watched drills in shorts. And Tanner Connor also stretched, but did not participate in drills as he had a brace on his left leg. So now heading over to SI and what Pupar reported today. Are we getting some passer ratings? Are we getting QBRs? What's going on? Jalen Waddle returned to practice for the first time in a few days, but he was limited and didn't take part in team drills. Taron Armstead did take part in team drills after also coming back, as did offensive lineman Greg Little. Eric Rowe was also back at practice Tuesday, though he didn't take part in team periods. Michelle, Van Ginkel, Scarlett, and Munson, and Tanner Connor did not practice after taking part in warmups. Chase Edmonds wore the orange jersey. While Tua had 3 long completions, the star of practice had to be Phillips. Along with 2 clear sacks, Phillips also got pressure on the very first play of team drills and possibly might have had a second in the game situation because he stopped and Tua stepped away from him. Tua's 3 long completions went to fullback Alec Ingold for about 25 yards, to Tyreek Hill for about 45 yards after Hill got behind rookie free agent Kadir Kahoo in one-on-one coverage, and to Mike Gesicki for about 60 yards after Gesicki quickly got behind the defense. The 1 long completion to Ingold came on the first play when Phillips got around the edge and near Tua, and it also was difficult to determine whether Ingold stayed in bounds after making the catch. He said he did. Remember, he said he did. So because we ruled a Tua incompletion as a sack, he wound up with a perfect passing day, going 6 for 6 for 141 yards with 2 touchdowns and no picks. Good for a passer rating of 158.3. There you go. There you go. Look at you, Pupar. The sweat that must have been trickling down your head as you typed that out. Bro, hey, the pain, bro. The pain. Your butt was probably puckering while you had to write that, huh? The running game got stuffed at the line of scrimmage on more than one occasion on this day, and defensive lineman Zach Seiler was a factor all day, getting at least tackles in the backfield or at the line of scrimmage. Oh, here we go. Now let's get into the real good part. Here we go. Bridgewater did not have any long completions like Tua did, though he did connect with River Craycraft for a 25-yard touchdown when there was an obvious mix-up in the secondary that left the receiver wide open. Bridgewater didn't necessarily have any memorable throws, and he had a bad miss when his floater to Braylon Sanders deep down the left sideline took too long to get there and allowed rookie Kadir Kahu to come back and break up the pass. Overall, Bridgewater was 7 for 9 in team periods for 65 yards with 1 touchdown and no picks. Good for a passer rating of 133.8. There you go, Poupar. Let's go, buddy. Thompson got very little action in team period, and when he got involved in team periods, the focus was on the running game. And on his one pass attempt, Duke Riley got him immediately up the middle. That would have been a sack, so he didn't record any passing statistics. Practice featured late game situations where the offense needed to get a first down and protect the lead. I got to be honest, guys. Me and Alan get along. I got no problem with the person. I found it fugazi that all of a sudden we started, keeping these. And then I know people were calling him out on, hey, why aren't you doing it all the time? So the practice featured late game situations where the offense needed to get a first down and protect the lead. Craycraft's touchdown was his 3rd consecutive reception from Bridgewater in that sequence. Phillips' first sack of Tua came after a high shotgun snap from Connor Williams, where he had to extend his reach to grab the ball. Don't like seeing that. Again, throwing the timing off, right? Porter Gustin was part of the strong run defensive effort, meeting Myles Gaskin at the line. Cameron Good did it even better than Gustin, meeting Gaskin some 4 yards into the backfield on another running play. Defensive tackle Raekwon Davis met Raheem Mostert at the line on yet another running play. Rookie wide receiver Braylon Sanders committed a false start on a first down from the offense's 2-yard line. Elijah Campbell was the first player in coverage who batted the ball away on Bridgewater's underthrown pass to Sanders. Sam McGuavin made a couple of nice plays against the run as he fights to try and win a roster spot. He appeared to get off Hunter Long's block on the second play. The officials threw a flag for holding in the offensive backfield with Tua at quarterback, and Gesicki's reaction sure seemed to suggest he was the one who got called for the penalty. Kahu broke up a slant intended for Mohamed Sanu. The last play of practice was a 3-yard completion from Bridgewater to Long that converted a 4th and short. All right. And then the thread today from Travis. Here's Travis's thread from today. So he said, day 16 is over. We've got another deep dime from Tua to Tyreek. Blitz was on. Tua lets it go early from the 40. Tyreek was maybe 10 yards off the line when Tua throws as the ball met Cheetah right around the goal line for a touchdown. Later, similar ball to Gesicki for a 60-yard score. This one was a good example of the QB seeing the blitz, buying some time by drifting as the protection was a man short for the blitz, and just lays it out there for 88 to run under it. He might have had to fend off a tackle from the safety, but it's a minimum 40-yarder. Jalen Phillips picked up a pair of sacks. My favorite was him incorporating a move that he was repping during individuals to bull rush, then spin back inside. Early in team, he gets home and shuts down a play with that same move. Edmonds had a couple of nice second-level pops, most notably behind lead blocks of Eichenberg and Ingold. Love to hear that. But the D scored more wins in the run game. Wilkins, Baker, Seiler, Van Ginkel, Iguavin, Elijah Campbell all had run stuffs. And Ingram pressure and closing speed shut down a short pass for a tackle for a loss. Emmanuel Ogbah is such a force at resetting a pass protection call. He can walk an edge or guard back. He can shorten the corner and force a step up, consistently impacts the opposing pass game. Braylon Sanders and River Craycraft made some plays today. Craycraft caught a chunk gain from Tua to start practice along the sidelines, then scored on what looked like a bust in coverage as he turned free into the end zone for a 25-yard touchdown from Teddy. Thomas Morstead hit 10 and 15-yard punts from the 40. Not live, no snap, just kicking. And they went either out of bounds at the 5 or checked up in that same territory. Short practice was good to see Waddle moving around out there. Looked fast as hell in Indies. So there you go. Waddle looked fast today. That's good stuff. And then here is what the Palm Beach Post had to say. This is what their takeaways from camp was today. The Dolphins had one practice on Tuesday before they connect with the Eagles for joint work on Wednesday and Thursday. Before practice, the Dolphins announced that cornerback Mackenzie Alexander is headed to the injured reserve, possibly ending his season. Alexander has a groin injury. It's possible Miami could reach an injury settlement with Alexander, and then he would be eligible to play this season. This puts the Dolphins in a tough spot in terms of cornerback depth. It would be helpful if Noah Benogany improved and Keon Crossen continued to practice well. Among the other players Miami let go are free safety Sheldrick Redwine, and then Coach McDaniel said Needham was good to go in practice, and Crossen is day today. McDaniel also expects Ingold to play Saturday. Things that were noticed by the Palm Beach Post today. Among the players not spotted suiting up, AVG, Sony Michel, Keon Crossen, Brendan Scarlett, linebacker Calvin Munson. Nick Needham seemed to have a finger on his left hand taped, and he was ready to participate. Tagovailoa to Tyreek over Kahoo for that huge gain. Jalen Phillips had some pressures. Teddy Bridgewater hit River Raycraft on a few deep ones. Cameron Good had a good tackle of Myles Gaskin. Tagovailoa short to Alec Ingold, lowers the pads. Greg Little has returned to the swing tackle competition. Chase Edmonds wore the orange jersey, and Tua hit Mike Gesicki on a long touchdown. I mean, the Palm Beach Post does the laziest recaps ever, but I got to show you guys everything. You know, I'm not doing my job if I don't show you guys everything. So there you go. All right, and then let's get into some of the clips from today. Got about 2 minutes worth of clips from today, because they didn't post them all directly to Twitter. So let's check out. Here is today. Obviously, the session started out today indoors, as you can see there. The team stretching. I'm loving these outdoors practice, man. Look at that facility. Such a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's absolutely beautiful. Got that, compression sleeve on his leg. Nice to see him out there. Little panoramic view of some drills going on inside before the horn sounds for everyone to converge at the middle there. Look at this. Love it. Gesicki putting in some work. Look at that. Gesicki putting in some work. Teron Armstead. Woo! That push, Teron. Wide receivers working on some drills. Doing their thing. Love it. Man, Cedric can feel Eric Ezukanma breathing down on him, huh? All right, here are the boys. Let's go out. Let's hit the field. Let's get it done, baby. Shout out to the homie Q. See you, homie. All right, Chase Edmonds in the orange practice jersey making some things happen today. Look at this. Teddy to River Craycraft all day, baby, for that touchdown. Beautiful stuff. Tua to Tyreek. Bucket. It's in the bucket. Woo! And then you like seeing this Hunter Long and Myles Gaskin putting in some jug work stuff after practice. Look at these boys putting in the work. Love it. I'm here for it. Put in the work, boys. Especially you, Hunter Long. Loving it. What a throw by Tua. What a throw from Tua to Tyreek. Like, wow. Whew. Wowzers. If that don't get you hyped, I don't know what will. That was incredible. So, love it, man. He getting worked out. I'm telling y'all, I expect the dog to come out against the Eagles and join practice this week. I'm telling y'all, he's coming. And if he don't come, I'm going to be disappointed. He ain't got... The Tua we all know and love would not let Jalen Hurts outperform and join practice or a preseason game. It don't matter if it's a preseason. So let's see that dog Let's see that dog, man. All right. Just quickly, let's go over what McDaniel had some things to say today. And then I want to go into 12 takeaways. So the Dolphins reached Tuesday's 80-man roster limit by releasing 2 former Miami Hurricanes and placing 2 players on injured reserve. Former Hurricane Sheldrick Redwine, as well as fellow Hurricane DeAndre Johnson, were among 3 players waived, along with Sterling Hoffrichter, who was beaten out by Thomas Morstead. No crap. Meanwhile, the Dolphins placed cornerback Mackenzie Alexander on injured reserve, meaning he cannot play for the Dolphins this season unless he and the team reach an injury settlement. He goes on waivers and then re-signs with Miami. Alexander was signed last week to bolster cornerback depth in the wake of Trill Williams' season-ending ACL injury. Cornerbacks Alexander, Nick Needham, and Keon Cross all sustained injuries in Saturday's preseason loss to Las Vegas. Coach McDaniel said Needham is fine and Crossan is day-to-day. Asked if the team might pursue another veteran quarterback after losing Alexander, McDaniel said, I would be a lot more concerned if I didn't really like the guys on our roster. Chris Greer and his staff are preparing for who is going to be out there in a week during final roster cutdowns. McDaniel said, Alexander's news was unfortunate to him. We feel like we just got him and he was doing some good work for them. The Dolphins also placed John Lovett on season-ending IR. Alec Ingold is expected to be the Dolphins' fullback. Redwine was released after battling Fledglum, Elijah Campbell, Verone McKinley, and others for the number 4 safety job behind Holland, Rowe, and Brandon Jones. Redwine, who's appeared in 33 NFL games, mostly for Cleveland, appeared as a backup in 4 games for the Dolphins last season. Meanwhile, Johnson was the first edge player cut in a highly competitive battle for backup jobs. Owen Carney survived this round of cuts. The Dolphins moved him from defensive end to linebacker this spring. NFL teams must trim from 80 to 53 by 4 p.m. next Tuesday. McDaniel expressed only mild concern for the mostly unproductive preseason running game. Miami is running vanilla offensive plays. Also, Raheem Mostert hasn't taken a carry in preseason, and likely starter Chase Edmonds has only 3 carries in preseason. Miami also played both preseason games so far without Alec Ingold and Teron Armstead, who will be fine and good to go for the opener on September 11th against New England. McDaniel said the running game has been torpedoed at times by 1 or 2 things. I want stuff better than that Raiders game. I want us to run the ball well. We're going to be fine moving forward. We have to get better from stuff. That's what I'm concerned about. McDaniel said, I'm firmly believing that a fullback will help. Alec will get some time Saturday against the Eagles and in joint practices this week. Obviously, he's recovering from that ACL injury he sustained in Week 10 last year. The Dolphins will conclude training camp with joint practices with the Eagles on Wednesday and Thursday at 10:15 a.m. Both are open to the public. The team will then play at 7 p.m. Saturday at Hard Rock Stadium in the preseason finale for both games. Again, if anyone's going tomorrow and you want to send me as many clips as you can, Phinside The NFL at gmail.com. Hey, we'll play them up here. We'll give you your props. So, joint practices are my favorite part of the preseason, McDaniel said. It's such a great opportunity for both sides to defend against and run your offense against different techniques, coverages, alignments. Training camp does become monotonous to guys. It's a great way to break stuff up. McDaniel said he has not decided if starters will play Saturday. If starters don't play, they would go 3 weeks without playing in a game. Would McDaniel be comfortable going 3 weeks without his starters playing in a game? He said that decision will be made individually. Some guys, that's not a big of a deal for because they're vested veterans, McDaniel said. You're also trying to weigh the risk of injury. McDaniel said tight end Hunter Long had his best week of practice last week and played very good against the Raiders. He started off really, really good in OTAs. Then there was a time when he wasn't making that many plays in the run and pass game. His position coach, John Embry, had a heart-to-heart with him a week ago, and he's really turned it up. And, I mean, he was noticeable on Saturday against the Raiders. I love it. That was definitely positive, man. Definitely a positive here. And then finally here from the Miami Herald, it's 12 offensive takeaways after watching all 14 Dolphins camp practices in Miami Gardens. So reporters have been able to watch 14 Dolphin practices on the grounds of Hard Rock Stadium during training camp, with 2 remaining sessions, Wednesday and Thursday joint practices with the Eagles, also open to fans. After that, the next full practice open to reporters won't be until May. 12 offensive notes and observations after watching all of those sessions. What's remarkable about 7th round rookie Skylar Thompson is not only does he look like an NFL quarterback, but he looks better than former Arizona Cardinal first rounder Josh Rosen ever did in a Dolphins uniform. 110%. Right? I mean, there's a lot of people who look better than Josh Rosen in the Dolphins uniform that weren't good, but Skylar's good, though. Even though the Dolphins under previous coaches have usually kept only 2 quarterbacks, here's why Thompson needs to make the 53 roster. There's a good chance he would be claimed by another team as the Dolphins try to move him to the practice squad, and Thompson has displayed enough skills in practices and games that it would be reasonable to envision him becoming a number 2 quarterback eventually. With the Dolphins already $2 million above the 2023 cap, it would help Miami's financial situation if Thompson could be a cheap backup in 2023 instead of the Dolphins needing to spend millions on a veteran number 2. Consider that Teddy Bridgewater can earn as much as $10 million this season with a $6.5 million cap hit. Conversely, Thompson's salary and cap hit in 2023 would be $890,000. So that's a substantial savings that could be used on another position if Thompson proves good enough to be a number 2 in 2023. Matt Waldman, who's doing scouting evaluations for different media outlets since 2006, said Skylar Thompson has the tools and craft to develop into one of the great anomalies of draft history. He's a compelling quarterback prospect whose career doesn't fit the rubric of traditional draft analysis. The view on Tua Tagovailoa, he has had a good camp. It would have been very good if not for that string of interceptions last week, 6 in 3 days. He rebounded well with strong effort Saturday against Las Vegas and in Tuesday's practice. His accuracy on several deep throws to Tyreek Hill and others offer hope that he can beat defenses over the top. He's sharp on short routes and seems better on intermediate routes. But he must eliminate the bad decisions, and there were too many last week, albeit in hurry-up drills, after very few during the first 3 weeks of camp. Though they have the cap space to do it, I will be surprised if the Dolphins are willing to spend a combined $4.6 million on number 3 and number 4 running backs, with Sony Michel due $2.1 million and Myles Gaskin due $2.5 million, none of which is guaranteed. Ahmed's speed, ability to create matchup problems in the passing game on wheel routes, and low salary of $895,000 make the case for moving on from either Michel or Gaskin and keeping Ahmed as the number 4 back. If Michel makes it, that decision will be based on past body of work, not preseason and camp performance. Zacondre White, who mimicked an Antonio Brown celebration of his touchdown catch Saturday, has shown enough to make the practice squad. Jared Dokes runs hard but drops too many passes. Chase Edmonds, who has speed and impressive instincts, is going to be a significant upgrade at running back over Gaskin. Consider this: if Edmonds had enough carries to qualify, he would be tied with Dalvin Cook for 5th among active backs and per carry average at 4.7 yards. Gaskin is below average at 3.8 per carry in his career. Edmonds has a bit more elusiveness as a receiver. His 7.2 career reception average tops Gaskin's 6.9. Besides being the Dolphins' best first down back, Edmonds probably is their best third down passing game situation back too. Edmonds was 17th among all NFL backs and receivers in average receiving yards after contact last season. With Trent Sherfield likely to stick as the number 5 receiver, I'm not convinced the Dolphins keep 6. Braylon Sanders and Lynn Bowden Jr. offered the most upside if Miami keeps a 6th receiver, but Bowden didn't get the offensive snaps until the second half Saturday after working as a return in the first half and hasn't been targeted a lot in practice. There will always be a Preston Williams, Mohamed Sanu, or River Craycraft type availability if there's an injury during the season. I'm not convinced Sanders would make it through waivers unclaimed. Not after a strong camp, individual several deep ball catches in practice. Perhaps he would, but it's a gamble. He has shown why he averaged 21.1 yards on 69 college receptions at Mississippi, playing in the SEC, America's toughest conference. Considering the 49ers used 2 tight ends only 10% of the time last season, it might be a challenge to get a lot of regular season work for Hunter Long, who has done a good job getting open on passing routes in camp. Long had his best week of camp last week, Coach McDaniel said. Last season, Gesicki played 828 or 72% of the Dolphins' offensive snaps, and Jerem Smythe played 716, which was good for 62% of their snaps. Both of those numbers could go down with the Dolphins likely using a fullback like Alec Ingold or an extra receiver on some plays that would have called for an extra tight end last season. Expecting Gesicki's blocking to jump from subpar to good is probably a stretch. if he can get to adequate, there's a way to get him significant snaps, so likely not as many as last year. Mel Kiper Jr. expressed concerns about Eric Gesicki's drops at Texas Tech. His hands have been a positive in camp. You need that attribute to make the type of plays like the brilliant one-handed catch. Bro, I don't know what Kiper was looking at. It wasn't the drops for me. It was he needed to learn a route tree because Texas Tech doesn't have an extensive route tree. His route running has been better than expected coming from a gimmick offense at Texas Tech. There you go. Though Sherfield has had a very good camp, it will be fascinating to see what Izakama can do against a team's worst rotational defensive back as a number 4 receiver. During Saturday's game, in the middle of the game, actually, I was kind of messing up a little bit early on, and Wes Welker told us, "You're here to take a grown man's job," Izakama said. That really resonated with me. I went back out there and just did everything I could to make plays when the ball came my way. Austin Jackson, slimmer and more confident, looks competent at right tackle, which is all I was asking for, particularly in a system that maximizes his type of athleticism. He has been fine in pass protection during limited reps in games this preseason, but the entire line must be better with run blocking. And Liam Eichenberg's work ethic and sound mechanics give him a chance to succeed at left guard. I'm cautiously hopeful on both. Neither might become great, but neither has been overwhelmed either. Connor Williams, a converted left guard, has had more than a dozen high snaps in practice, and that has disrupted several plays. The good news is that Williams has demonstrated the skill set as a blocker to play center in the wide zone scheme, and he hasn't had a single snap that sailed over the quarterback's head or rolled on the ground. Robert Jones, who got a start at right tackle in last season's finale against New England, said he has taken only one snap at tackle during training camp. He has played every other snap at guard. And with Larnell Coleman's play remaining erratic and unproven Greg Little only now coming back from injury, there's no greater concern on the roster than backup tackle, considering Terron Armstead has never played a full season. This is a huge week of Little. This is a huge week for Little, who returned to team drills on Tuesday. Rookie left tackle Kellen Diesch, given a guaranteed $140,000 to sign after the draft, hasn't challenged. He played no offensive snaps against Las Vegas. Jones and Michael Dieter are likely to stick as the team's 6th and 7th linemen, and Solomon Kinley, who can move people in the run game, could make it as an 8th. But unless Coleman or Little is very good this week, Miami might need to trade for a number 3 tackle or find one on the waiver wire. The Dolphins have had several tight end experiments in recent years, converting Montana State and Bryce Stirk to tight end in 2020 and converting Jabri Blount to tight end last season. Neither experiment worked out. But the decision to sign Idaho State rookie receiver Tanner Connor and make him a tight end could potentially be fruitful. He has strong hands, very good speed, and good size. Connor should have a chance to develop on the practice squad. There's no room on the 53. Connor was wearing a brace on his left leg on Tuesday. And it's becoming more difficult to find a path for Sethan Carter to make the 53-man roster. His entire $2.3 million salary and $2.5 million cap hit are wiped away if he's cut. His struggles Saturday, one poor blocking play and 2 poor plays on pass blocking, followed a camp that has been merely adequate. So, there you go. There you go. A little bit more on depth, some raw potential final roster spot news for you there from Barry Jackson. Absolutely fantastic work. Again, guys, the next 2 days, we are going to have joint practices with the Eagles. I'll be live in the evening for both of those around 8 p.m. And then I will be live on Saturday for the Eagles Dolphins preseason finale. That'll start at 7 p.m. So be out on the lookout for those. I'm going to get out of here, guys. I appreciate all y'all for coming through. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all already know what time it is, baby. You already know what it been, what it is. Appreciate y'all coming through. Fins up all day, every day. I will see all y'all on the next one. Stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. And again, fins up all day, every day, even beyond the graves in which we'll lay. I'll see y'all tomorrow, all right? Fins up, baby. Love y'all. And again, condolences to Omar Brown. Be strong, Omar. We're all thinking of you, all right? Love y'all.